In this episode, we will talk about Filipino jealousy and the truth behind why Filipina women are typically very jealous. If you've been in a relationship or dated any Filipina girl, they will be jealous and you will notice it. I'll tell you why. It's very easy and simple. They are jealous because of trust issues, because they themselves are cheaters, liars, and deceitful. Therefore, anytime you are simply looking at or on social media, that is the root of it because they think you are doing what they are doing behind your back. However, I nor you are not the only ones who feel this way. Many people have similar experiences. Whitetick69 says, I met a Filipina on my travels recently and we started dating. I told her I went for a massage, and boy, was that a mistake. She kept asking if I like other women touching me. Was I satisfied? She would not stop. She seems very jealous. Are all Filipinas like this? Slow Freddy says, simple enough. When you realize that almost half the Filipino population is unmarried, over half the children are born out of wedlock, and how much cheating goes on in the Philippines, their jealousy is understandable. There is a report on how many babies were born to unwed mothers, and here's a screenshot. Says Slow Freddy. It is true. Many of these women have babies outside of marriage. They claim to be religious or traditional, but look how many people have children at a very young age without even being married. The entire country is backwards, and if you live here long enough, you would definitely agree. Shaba too says, my experience has been lots of jealousy. Does that mean the entire females from the Philippines fits the mold? No. Does it perhaps point to a prevalence of distrust in the culture? Yes, maybe. My experience with Filipino men has been mostly negative. Arashia says jealousy here is very big with Filipinas and Filipinos as well. I've met so many jealous guys, OMG, like crazy jealous. Like this one guy who video called me like every 5 minutes, and if I did not answer, instantly he would accuse me of cheating. He started that behavior after 1 week. I gave him a chance to cut it out, dumped him after 2 weeks total, too much BS. That was from a Filipina perspective, but tells you a lot that Filipino women are not even trusted by their own kind, by Filipino men. Don't forget, these women must be cheating with someone. While you send her money from across the pond, she has a local boyfriend. We discussed that previously. Divis External says, a lot of them are extremely jealous. My ex and I were on mandatory video call 24/7. It was endearing at first until it's not. She would constantly ask me why I'm smiling. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to another girl? I was on Reddit on YouTube laughing at comments. Jesus fucking Christ. Any blacksmith says, obviously not all are, but very common here in the Philippines. It basically boils down to two reasons. One, jealousy is much more socially tolerated in the West. Women still act like that, but they're a bit ashamed of it and correctly think that people will see them as immature or childish or toxic if they act so jealous, so tone it down. In the Philippines, society generally tolerates and accepts and even glorifies jealousy through social media and television, as women are not ashamed to act in that way. They won't be judged by society and thought to be childish or toxic for acting irrational or jealous the way that a woman would in the West, so they don't hold back. 2. Cheating is much more common in the Philippines, so they have a good reason to be jealous. Their jealousy is not so irrational after all. And in your specific scenario, massages are even more synonymous with P for P than they are in the West. Just because it's normal here, it doesn't mean you should tolerate it. You need to nip it in the bud from the very start. Otherwise, she'll just push you and push you further. there's nothing good that comes from that kind of jealousy. Jealousy in a relationship shows a lack of trust in your partner. If you are jealous of your partner, why even be in a relationship? Of course, at first, there is a buffered time where you both try to figure each other out to see who's in your lives and what kind of situation that might arise. Personally, jealousy is unhealthy. For me, if you are jealous of something to do with your partner, it means that they are not communicating well enough or that you have not set boundaries of what is acceptable to you in your relationship. The way I see it, Filipinos are jealous for multiple reasons, the primary being the fact that they mostly are cheaters and liars, therefore always assuming that you are doing the same thing. Secondly, of course, they do not want you to monkey branch and upgrade from the current situation because they know there are plenty of women out there that would like to be with the foreigner. So these two things creates a situation where women tend to be overly jealous, oftentimes even out of your control. And moreover, they are immature when it comes to social or regular behaviors in a relationship because they are not fully matured. They are emotionally stunted. They do not know how to handle a situation that may be uncomfortable for them, so they act out like a child. And I believe that is where this term tampo comes from, where women just ignore you, give you the cold shoulder, and not talk to you, which I think is cowardly, and any man tolerating that is just as bad as the woman pretending to act or actually acting like a child. It's time for the catfish of the day. Remember, catfish is not necessarily about how attractive the first photo is, it's about the difference between the photos on her profile. How do you go from this to this? Unbelievable, sometimes 10-15 years or 10-15 kilos difference between the photos. Yesterday's best comment about poor customer service in the Philippines is from Slidob. The customer service is horrendous. Even in BGC or Makati, it's worse than literally any other country. Lazy, slow, unprofessional, no attention to detail, no genuine care at all. They will tell you, "Sorry, sir," 10 times, but they are not sorry. They don't care. It's also expensive in the Philippines considering the low value you get in return. I have seen high-end restaurant staff and 2 meters from me wide open door, hot air blasting into the restaurant, and them too lazy to close the door. I have told waiters and waitresses that they would be tipped very well if they gave me good service, and they still fell way short. Even to get 2 days' wages on a single tip, they can't figure it out. These people literally have no critical thinking whatsoever. It's actually a phenomenon that something could be so bad. If anybody ever tries to say the service is anything but the worst in the world in the Philippines, they are not being honest. Try and get the check to pay your bill. It could take 30 minutes for them to bring you the check. It's downright pathetic. I concur with this comment. The Philippines has the world's worst customer service. The worst comment is from Johnny, who cannot even formulate a proper sentence for an insult. Says, "Sir, you are obviously clueless. Note, most likely AI, nut job." Yes, AI nut job, with close to 14,000 subscribers and many views, many of who agree with me. If you want to spread the truth about the Philippines, subscribe to the channel, press the icon with the thumbs up, share the video, use super thanks, super chats. Let's spread the word, the truth, the other side of the fairy tale that other vloggers want you to believe. Thanks for watching. God bless.